You know that moment when something feels off, but you can't prove it. Yeah, that's exactly where this started. It wasn't something big at first. No obvious lies, no dramatic scene, nothing you could point at and say, this is wrong. It was just a feeling, the kind that sits quietly in your chest and doesn't go away, no matter how much you try to ignore it. I kept telling myself I was overthinking. I mean, we were fine, right? We talked every day. We saw each other almost every weekend. He said all the right things. So why did I feel like I was slowly being pushed out of something that was supposed to be mine? Anyway, I'm Elena, and this is the story of the day I realized I was never who I thought I was in his life. So it happened on a random Saturday. He invited me to this small get-together. Nothing crazy, just a few of his friends, some people from work, drinks, music, normal stuff. I was actually excited, not because of the party, but because it felt like progress. Like finally, I was being included in his world. I even spent extra time getting ready. Not too much. I didn't want to look like I was trying too hard, but enough to feel confident. You know that balance. When I got there, everything felt normal at first. He smiled, hugged me, introduced me to a couple of people. It felt okay, until it didn't. We were standing in a small group, laughing about something, when one of his friends, someone I hadn't met before, looked at me and asked, "So, how do you guys know each other?" Simple question, right? I didn't even get the chance to answer. Because he did. He smiled casually, like it was nothing, and said, "Oh, she's just a friend." Just a friend. I swear, in that exact moment, everything around me went quiet. Not literally, people were still talking. Music was still playing, but in my head, silence. Because I didn't understand. I thought maybe I heard it wrong. But no, I didn't. And the worst part, no one reacted. No one questioned it. Because for them, that was the truth. I looked at him, waiting for him to fix it. To laugh and say, "I'm joking," or "I mean more than that," or anything, literally anything. But he didn't. He just kept talking, like he didn't just reduce everything we had into one word. Friend. And I stood there, smiling. Yeah, smiling. Because what else do you even do in that moment? You don't create a scene. You don't start explaining yourself to strangers. You don't beg someone to claim you in front of people. You just stand there and act like it didn't hurt. But it did, more than I expected, because it wasn't just about what he said. It was about what he meant. Let me ask you something. Have you ever been in a situation where someone made you feel small without even raising their voice? Just think about that, because that night, I didn't confront him. I didn't argue. I didn't even bring it up. Instead, I did something much worse. I agreed with him. If I was just a friend, then that's exactly what I was going to be. And trust me, he wasn't ready for that I didn't say anything that night. Not in the car, not when he dropped me home, not even when he texted me later, like everything was normal. Had fun today. I stared at that message for a few seconds. Funny how one sentence can feel so different after everything that just happened. Before I would have replied instantly, something sweet, something light, something us. But this time, I just typed, yeah, it was nice. That's it. No extra words, no energy. And I think that's when it started. Not the argument, not the drama, the shift. The next few days, I did exactly what he said I was. A friend. I stopped calling him the way I used to. Stopped checking if he got home safe. Stopped asking about his day in that extra way. I replied, but I didn't continue conversations. I showed up, but I didn't stay longer than I had to. I laughed, but it didn't come from the same place. And at first, he didn't notice. Of course he didn't, because when someone gets used to you giving too much, they don't realize when you start giving less. But then slowly, he did. Are you okay? He texted one night. I looked at the message and smiled a little, because now he was confused. And I was. I'm good, I replied, and I left it at that. No explanation, no extra emotion, just good. A few days later, he asked me to hang out. Normally, I would have cleared my whole schedule for him. This time, I'll see if I'm free. I didn't even recognize myself typing that. But it felt right, because for once, I wasn't waiting around. I wasn't adjusting my time for someone who couldn't even define me properly in his life. And that's when things really started to change. When we did meet again, it felt different. Not awkward, just distant. He kept looking at me, like he was trying to figure something out. Like something wasn't adding up. You've been acting weird, he finally said. I tilted my head slightly. Weird how? You're just different, he said. Not like before. I almost laughed. Not in a funny way, but in that quiet, ironic way. Different, I said. I'm just being normal. He frowned, because he didn't understand. He didn't realize that what he called different was actually just me matching his energy, matching his effort, matching his definition. Friend, let me ask you something. Have you ever stopped putting in effort just to see if the other person would notice? Because that's exactly what I was doing. And for the first time, I wasn't scared of losing him. I was curious to see how long it would take him to realize that he was the one losing me. By the end of that week, he knew something was wrong. Not because I said anything, but because I stopped doing everything. No random I miss you texts, no late night calls, no small check-ins just to feel close. I didn't disappear. I just stopped reaching. And that's when he started trying. At first, it was small. Hey, what are you doing? Did you eat? Why are you so quiet lately? Messages I used to wait for. Now they just sat there for a while before I replied. Not on purpose. I just didn't feel that urgency anymore. And I think that's what confused him the most. Because when you're used to someone always being there, you don't expect them to step back. One night he called me, out of nowhere. I picked up, but I didn't sound excited. "Hey," I said calmly. "Hey," he paused. "You sound different." There it was again. Different. I leaned back on my bed, staring at the ceiling. "I'm just tired," I said. That wasn't the truth, but it was easier than explaining everything. He chose not to see. We talked for a bit, but it felt forced, like he was trying to bring something back, and I wasn't meeting him halfway anymore. Before hanging up, he said something that stuck with me. "I feel like I'm losing you." I didn't answer right away, because for a second, I wanted to say, "You already did," but I didn't. Instead, I just said, "Good night," and ended the call. The next day, he asked to see me again. This time, I said yes, not because I missed him, but because I wanted to see something. I wanted to see how he would act when I wasn't the same girl anymore. When I got there, he hugged me a little tighter than usual, like he was holding onto something slipping away. "You've really changed," he said quietly. I smiled slightly. "Maybe I just got comfortable," I replied. He looked confused. "What does that mean?" I shrugged. "It means I stopped trying so hard." That hit him. I saw it in his face, because suddenly he was thinking. And that's when things shifted again. He started paying attention, noticing things, the way I didn't sit as close as before, the way I didn't look at him the same way, the way I didn't react to him the way I used to. And for the first time, he was the one trying to get my attention. "Let me ask you something. Have you ever pulled back?" And suddenly, the other person started chasing. Because it's funny how that works. People don't notice your presence until they feel your absence. And now, he was starting to feel it. But the real question was it too late? Because what I was about to do next was something he truly didn't see coming. At this point, he couldn't ignore it anymore. Whatever was happening between us, it wasn't normal. And for the first time since I met him, he was the one trying to figure things out. He texted me more, called more, even showed up unexpectedly once, just to see me. Before, I would have been happy about that. Now, I just noticed it. That's all. One evening, we were sitting together, and he finally said it. "Can we talk?" I looked at him, calm, not nervous, not emotional. "About what?" I asked. He sighed, running his hand through his hair. "About us," he said. That word felt strange. Us, because suddenly it sounded like something he wasn't sure existed anymore. "You've been distant," he continued. "You don't talk the same. You don't act the same. I feel like I don't even know where I stand with you anymore." I almost smiled, because that feeling, That exact confusion. I had been living in it for weeks, maybe months. I'm just acting how I'm supposed to, I said quietly. He frowned. What does that mean? I looked at him, really looked this time. And then I said it. I'm acting like your friend. Silence, not the normal kind, the heavy kind, the kind that makes everything stop for a second. Because now he understood. Not fully, but enough. That's not what you are, he said quickly. And that right there, that was the moment. Because I didn't feel relief hearing that. I didn't feel happy. I just felt tired. Really? I asked softly. Because that's not what you said. He didn't respond. Because he remembered. That night, that exact moment, the one he thought didn't matter. I didn't mean it like that, he said. I shook my head slightly. It doesn't matter how you meant it, I replied. It matters how it felt. And for the first time, he had no explanation, no quick answer, no way to fix it instantly. Because this wasn't about one sentence anymore. It was about everything behind it. Let me ask you something. Have you ever had someone realize your value only after you stopped showing it to them? Because that's exactly what was happening right in front of me. I don't want you to be just my friend, he said finally. And I believed him. But the problem was, he believed it now, not before. And timing changes everything. I leaned back slightly, keeping my voice steady. But that's what you made me, I said. That hit him harder than anything else. Because deep down, he knew it was true. And now, he wasn't trying to understand me anymore. He was trying to fix something that was already breaking. And what I decided next was something he wasn't ready for. After that conversation, everything became clear. Not suddenly, not dramatically, just quietly. The kind of clarity that doesn't come from anger, but from finally seeing things the way they really are. He tried after that. He really did. More messages, more calls, more effort than I had seen in a long time. But something inside me had already shifted. And once that happens, you can't go back to how things were. One night, he called me again. This time, his voice sounded different. Not confused, not frustrated, just scared. Can I see you? He asked. I paused for a second. Then I said, okay. When we met, he didn't waste time. I don't want to lose you, he said. Simple, honest, late. I looked at him, and for a moment, I saw the version of him I used to care about so much. The one who made me feel special. The one who chose me. But that version wasn't the one standing in front of me anymore. You didn't lose me in one day, I said softly. You lost me slowly when I kept choosing you, and you stopped choosing me. He didn't interrupt, because this time he was listening, really listening. I didn't realize it, he said quietly, and I nodded. I know, I replied. And that was the problem, because love isn't supposed to be something you realize too late. Let me ask you something. Would you stay with someone who only starts trying when they feel you slipping away? Or would you choose yourself? I already knew my answer. I took a small step back, not out of anger, not out of pride, but out of respect for myself. I don't want to go back to being someone you're unsure about, I said. I don't want to be in something where I have to wait for you to decide what I mean to you. His expression changed. Not shocked, not angry, just heavy, like he finally understood what this really cost him. So this is it, he asked. I looked at him one last time, and for the first time, I wasn't hoping he would stop me. Yeah, I said, this is it. And I walked away, not fast, not dramatic, just done. And the strange thing, I didn't feel broken. I didn't feel like I lost something. I felt light because I didn't lose him. I stopped losing myself. And as for him, he didn't just lose a girlfriend. He lost someone who would have never called him just a friend. And that's something he's going to remember for a long time.